Hey everybody, and welcome back to Is It Kino, your favorite filmography podcast about the works of Richard Kelly. That's right, Mumkey and Biggs and Eggy are back. Thankfully, Richard Kelly only has 3 films in his filmography, so this miniseries won't take long. We covered Donnie Darko a few months ago, and then we got sidetracked with S. Darko, and then we got sidetracked with literally Biggs the movie, and then we said we were going to do like World's Greatest Dad or God Bless America, but no, then we realized we forgot to go back to Richard Kelly, so that's why we're here for his second film, his blank check project, after the success of Donnie Darko, and this is our review of Southland Tales! And I'm joined, of course, by Biggs Bigsington.
Wait, Southland Tales? I thought this was E. Darko. Did I watch the wrong movie?
Now, you might be shocked, Biggs. I've done some research. Richard Kelly, who has not made a movie since 2009, is scheduled to start filming his 4th film in the fall of this year. I'm dead serious. And he says,
no way.
And according to the Wikipedia, he's not against it. He has 10 different ideas. He's not saying which one was greenlit, but one of his 10 ideas is an actual sequel to Donnie Darko. And he said, it just depends on what cast I can get, and that we're going to wipe S. Darko off the face of existence.
Just cue that Aaron Paul moment where he's like, you can't keep getting away with this.
What's he getting away with?
Please.
He's going to rewrite history and make it better. That's the plot of all of his movies.
Please, this can't happen.
And the biggest fan of Southland Tales, perhaps on the planet, it's Eggy Eggman Rodriguez.
That's right. This might be my favorite film of all time. After seeing this, I don't know. It's strong to say. So sometimes you gotta let the dust settle a little bit. But I didn't look anything into this film before I went into it. I was like, damn, this is a 2.5 hour long movie. I'm thinking it's like when I see Southland Tales, something like Bronx Tales is gonna be like West Side Story. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm getting into at all. And so every 5 to 10 minutes, it was just pure ambrosia dripping from the Hall of the Gods into my gullet with absolute kino juices.
I was hoping that's how you would feel when I made you watch Cloud Atlas, and to hear that praise for this movie is like a stab in the heart.
I also did not look at all into this movie other than looking at the cover. And I also thought it was some gritty gang movie or something like that.
So what's insane is this is his blank check project. They say, Donnie Darko is a big hit. We're going to give you only $17 million, which, I was impressed that this movie was made for $17 million with how many locations and extras and sets and costumes. That is incredible. But Richard Kelly decides to use this opportunity, his sophomore film, to do what is parts 4, 5, and 6 of a story. You might have noticed that, there's little cards in the movie, part 4, part 5. Parts 1, 2, and 3 are a series of books that he wrote and released before the movie came out. Each one's 100 pages. So this film is a sequel to a 300-page novel that he wrote. It's not a complete story even. We're just getting the second half of his story. Why would he do that? It's no wonder why this was a failure. Eggy, since you love this, are you gonna read the books?
To be honest, yeah, I would be happy to.
You should.
And for me, I guess just the fact that it starts at a point of real action and tension, and it starts on such an upswing that, although that is true what you mentioned, frankly, I might even come to maybe take the film as less to read the novels, because then maybe I'll be upset that they didn't have the first 3 also in a film, so I could enjoy that as well. But I feel like, as true as it is, taking the film for what it is and what we do get in the story, is just, it's good at all times. It's always just so enjoyable that it's not any great loss for me to be missing maybe some of what's in the beginning. But maybe I will agree that I have been missing something if I do go read those books.
Well, if we conclude this trilogy filmography and we come back to review the box in like a month, maybe by that point you'll have done the reading and you can report back to us.
I think I should certainly have time. You know, I've been, especially with the summer coming up here, I'm trying to get out, soak up some of them rays. Sometimes I just need a reason to be outside and maybe a little bit of reading.
Yeah, get a Kindle, go lay out by the beach. Be a kino, egg white summer. Biggs, here's what I think was Richard Kelly's idea going into this movie. He thought, I made this movie Donnie Darko, and one day a man named Biggs will watch this movie 100 days in a row to try to understand it. Deservedly so. But I'm Richard Kelly, that's child's play, it's time to evolve. Movie number 2, Biggs is gonna have to watch this 1,000 days in a row to understand this. We're gonna increase the complexity tenfold. And with that being said, Biggs, could you try to describe any of the many plots of this movie to the audience who has no idea what we're talking about?
Well, the problem is when I finished this movie, around the same time I was clocking off work,
But you watched this at work?
Yeah, I told you, like my last few hours of work, I was sitting at home working on my laptop and watching this great film. I honestly felt like I had been drugged. Like somebody broke in and put drugs in my drink. Because
you got injected with those syringes that they keep doing in the movie.
From scene to scene, I was just so confused. And then there was a music number, and I'm like, what is this movie?
Beer on his head.
What is the point of this movie? It makes so much more sense that there's like books that happened before this, because where it started, like, I just felt like I was dropped into the middle of someone's really like bad Mad Max campaign or something.
So to answer the question, no, he cannot relay any of the subplots because it was so confusing. So Eggy, please help us.
Well, it kind of feels like, we were dropped into... So the film was released in 2007, and it's kind of like the start of it's from 2005, but then it's in like 2008 also. So it's kind of in this time frame, but it's not so... irrelevant at all to what we're experiencing now. So basically it starts off, I just watched this last night as well, after the war between India and Pakistan had started. So all of a sudden I start watching it and a bomb goes off and they're like, oh, it's World War III. I'm like, wow, this is a very, maybe even a couple of years ago, this might not have felt like it would have had any kind of parallels to relate to, but there's...
Well, I think I think this is very much a movie about 9/11, and instead of the Twin Towers, we have a nuclear bomb going off in Texas in 2005. And much how 9/11 led to the surveillance state that we're all supposed to, it's our patriotic duty to be spied on, and we have to do it with a smile. This movie takes it to the extreme where every single public toilet has a camera, and like some lady's job 24 hours a day is to watch people shit, as if that's going to prevent another nuclear bomb from going off. So I think it's very much satirizing post 9/11 America, and maybe that's why the film is so confusing, because everything is like through a dense lens of metaphor and satire. And if you don't know exactly what Richard Kelly had in mind, it's kind of a lot of nonsense.
I mean, it landed pretty quickly for me. I mean, I guess, is there maybe a cohesive plot right away with it? Maybe not for, I'm trying to think how, once they start getting into the fluid motion, everything is kind of a fluid karma rather, something kind of starts to take effect, but just the fact that it's, this extremely satirical take on mass surveillance. We have like porn stars releasing like pop songs for like young people.
Well, like the media, when you turn on the TV and it's just porn stars giving their opinions on politics in American society, and that's like the only TV show that anybody's ever watching.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is when I see Will Sasso sitting there like eating popcorn, watching TV, it's like 5 porn stars discussing politics. And they start talking about, they're promoting like their album which is called Teen Horniness is Not a Crime. And then,
which, isn't that ripped off in No. It must be ripping off the Heathers movie. I think there's a song like teen sex, don't do it. So I guess the exact opposite. But I was also thinking this movie has a lot of parallels to Megalopolis, and that also has like the teenage virgin sexualized shit in it. They're very much companion pieces in a lot of ways, I think.
All the media.
Good films. But I like this lyric. I wrote it down from because there's a point a little bit later on in the film where they recite that title number, and there's a lyric that goes, "Teen horniness is not a crime. Observe the nerds who shot up Columbine." Of course, that's not pause and applaud. But the last thing in this one of the opening segments here, where Will Sass was watching these sports stars all talk politics, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who plays this large part in the film, is Krista Kapowski, but under the stage name of Krista Now. She, right before it cuts off from him watching it, she goes, "All right, now we need to start talking about these tariffs." And once again, I immediately paused and stood up and started applauding. I mean, this kino might have aged better than expected. That's all I'm saying.
Biggs, you were about to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say that the media that everybody's like taking in this movie reminded me heavily of God Bless America, like the satirical level of it, but how real it actually is for just like anytime you turn on TV, it's pretty much what's on TV. Like, they weren't far off from the truth.
And Biggs, this might blow your mind. So we were supposed to be doing a God Bless America podcast today. We're doing this instead. We'll save that for later. But when I was looking at Richard Kelly's Wikipedia, he produced a movie, not God Bless America, but a different film also by the same director, World's Greatest Dad. Did we know that? Did we know Richard Kelly produced World's Greatest Dad, one of our other favorite movies?
I did not know that.
Mind equal blown. Hey, I want to talk about a man named Holmes Osborne. Biggs, do you know who Holmes Osborne is?
Yeah, of course. And I was going to say it. That's why I was confused. I thought this was just E. Darko. I thought this was like...
Oh, Eddie Darko!
After his son dies, you know, he just kind of goes
his
a little
daughter's
insane
politics
in his
and went
mind.
into politics himself.
Yeah, he's like pissed at Dukakis. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna run for office.
I'm gonna be the vice president.
And this is his story of, you know, getting into politics and how the world's going downhill.
So for those who are confused, the actor who played Donnie Darko's father, Eddie Darko, is named Holmes Osborne. He appears in this movie, and I looked it up. He is the only actor to appear in all 3 Richard Kelly films, which makes me think, now that this man is 77 years old, will he appear in the 4th Richard Kelly movie that is going to be filming this year? I mean, if he's not, I say we boycott and riot, because how fucking dare you not get him for the 4th one?
Absolutely. It was already bad enough he didn't get Jake Gyllenhaal for all of them, so at least we have, you know...
And he got a lot of celebrities in this movie. I'm surprised Jake didn't show up.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the budget wasn't like $150 million for all these like top name actors.
But I got a quote from Richard Kelly about Osborne. He says, Osborne often portrays varying incarnations of a conservative archetype across different time frames in American history. In Donnie Darko, he is a suburban father in the Reagan era. Southland Tales, he's Senator Bobby Frost. And in The Box, he plays a NASA official. So if he's playing conservative men throughout history, Richard Kelly's 4th movie, is Eddie Darko going to be like a Trump guy?
Could be.
Well, he played Trump because he's 77. Wouldn't he be playing like the presidential, like elderly, conservative presidential figure? Can you see Eddie Darko playing a Trump?
I don't know. I feel like you have to have a certain body type to play Trump. We
haven't seen this man in 15 years. He might be fat.
Sure, that's true. Let me see what he looks like these days.
Where would he be photographed, Biggs? What do you think this man does? He's 77.
I was gonna say that. All right, a 77-year-old man, he's not going to be having so much metabolism. If they're able to kind of ping him now to start filming in 6 months, you could get a lot of Big Macs and Diet Coke down in 6 months. That's all I'm saying.
We could just put a fat suit on him if we have to. But Mark
man.
Ruffalo didn't get fat to play Trump in Mickey 17. You find something,
And his
Biggs?
character was worse for it.
Well, if it lets me copy this over.
Google just calls you a pervert for searching his name and today. Like, you sicko.
I don't know. He like it off the bat. Seeing this picture reminds me of a political figure, but I completely lost.
Dukakis?
Don't say that.
Vice President Frost or whatever his name was in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, more from this movie. I'll go ahead,
There-
Eggy.
This picture that you've sent here, he just looks too kind to portray a politician. Like, if you're a politician who's 77 years old, you've probably been a senator for about 55 years already so far, and you've probably done a lot of really terrible things, so you can't have too much humanity. So if they can figure out a way to make him look a little more evil, maybe they've got him, but anyhow.
He might look like a George Soros type. Maybe he'll be like a libtard. They'll switch it up. But other
What's the
plots
dude,
from this movie, Wallace Shawn has realized that the ocean's perpetual motion can be utilized for energy resources, but I guess by doing this it causes a rift in the space-time continuum, and then like The Rock and Sean, what's his name, Sean Wallace Howard, whatever this fucking actor's name is, there's like two of them, and that if they touch it destroys the fourth dimension of time. Am I getting this right, Eggy?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
Yeah. Wallace Shawn tricks an Asian man into getting his hand cut off at the beginning. That was a kino scene.
Clearly you didn't read the contract. It says there's a 6-inch margin of error.
And the Asian guy's like, inconceivable.
I like how he yells
at him.
Wallace Shawn, he's like, brats and mozzarella, cheap wooden plaque. Like, is that some like dishonorable thing, like in Japanese culture? Like, if you get your hand cut off, it has to be mounted on like something expensive. It seemed like he was really trying to, because I didn't understand what that was about, but
it was extremely disrespectful, I guess. That's all he's tried to do, is hurt this man at his soul.
True, yeah.
What about The Rock? What do we think of The Rock in probably his most acty performance, other than that great Michael Bay movie, Pain and Gain?
I love that he had autism.
He had autism and he dropped the hard R.
Yes!
I'd say he did a good job.
Absolutely shocking when they dropped the N-word in this movie.
Also, not to jump back too far, but I was thinking of Mitch McConnell. I think if he had some like less life in his eyes, he could pull off Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, in many ways, is responsible for a lot of what Trump's getting away with, so it might work for Richard Kelly's vision. I want to talk about how Richard Kelly has the same little group of ideas that seem to be repeating in all of his movies. And I think we love Donnie Darko because it's the quintessential edgy teenager movie, and it has all the basics of being an edgy teen that we love. And you would expect this movie to be his adult movie because it's about adults and adult themes, but no, he's bringing again a lot of these edgy teenager things from Donnie back over again. The opening narration is about a prophecy about how the world's gonna end soon. Okay, was copying Donnie beat for beat again. Puppets of the Antichrist, that kind of dialogue is brought up. Pornographers, but instead of child porn, at least we have just normal porn stars in this movie, so a little less edgy in that regard. Time travel, of course, a major theme that he's obsessed with. Anything else, Biggs, that he's just stealing his own ideas from Donnie?
The whole idea of the Messiah coming and having to die to save everyone
Yeah.
was repeated again. And then the fact that messiahhood could pass on to the next person.
A group of women performing a choreography together during a musical montage climax of the film. Yeah.
That was kino too, by the way.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense with like this fucking 4D perpetual motion, fly your truck up with like a a hood rat, like faking the funk thug with an RPG. But I don't give a fuck. It was Kino.
A lot of those elements reminded me of S. Darko more than Donnie Darko, especially the Iraqi vet plot lines with they all have amnesia and don't know what happened in the war. Isn't that what Action Jack? What the fuck was his name in S. Darko? He says he's never seen S. Darko, but I feel like a lot of script elements are very similar here.
What Iraq Jack? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Was he in this movie? I saw a guy in the background that looked just like him. Let me look real quick.
I doubt it. I bet he said anybody who is in that shit is not allowed near me. He's furious about that movie. He said they stole the rights of Donnie from him when he was 24 and he was too naive to know any better.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Have you guys seen the animated show on Netflix, Arcane, about League of Legends? I have a feeling they stole the climax of the first season from this movie, because one of their characters is standing off with a resolved look on their face as they fire an RPG directly into a building full of all of the politicians. And it's it went off almost the exact same. When I was watching the scene, I'm like, when did this come out? They're so similar. It's crazy to me.
It's another example of Richard Kelly predicting the future with this movie, and he predicted Arcane. I highly doubt that any of those people saw this to rip it off. I mean,
no, I'm sure they did.
This movie made less than $1 million at the box office. I was shocked by that number. How did this flop so bad?
They spent so little and it flopped that bad. That's crazy.
And I guess they gave him one more chance, and the box just did not make enough money to justify it.
Maybe he hoped with the cast would just pull in more people alone, and nobody would care to look at the summary of the movie.
Yeah, we do have John Lovitz in this movie. He shows up and shoots Amy Poehler in a shocking scene. And I've been seeing Amy Poehler a lot lately because I've been binging Parks and Rec, so it was oddly satisfying to see her just suddenly get shot. Any other standout scenes?
Well, something I thought was a little interesting, it's more towards probably the final quarter of the film, where the riots are picking up. They have I think it's maybe just directly preceding the launch of the blimp that kind of plays into towards the end of the film. But they have this sort of, it kind of gives me like a 1990s MTV vibe with this newscast that they play every so often. But anyways, they're playing some of it, and it pulls as they're covering the riots, it puts this Bible quote on the screen, which is these Jews are the synagogue of Satan or whatever. I was like, whoa, Richard Kelly. And I'm what kind of parallels are we supposed to be drawing? Here's the blimp full of the rich politicians is floating into the sky, and it has a quote about Jews are the synagogue of Satan come up on screen and there's all these people dying in the streets, rioting and killing each other about the completely decimated state of this extremely tyrannical dystopian future. I thought that was interesting.
Is that why they won't let him make any more movies? Because he knows the truth and he's putting these messages in there.
Well, if that was true, then he would just be killed by this point because he won't stop.
They did it to Trevor Moore. I wouldn't be shocked if Richard Kelly was next. Equally influential artist on my life.
We can't forget the the great beach scene towards the end with the Rock.
Yeah, I was thinking immediately we need to reshoot this shot for shot. So who's playing who? Okay, here's the scene. A woman with a gun runs up to the Rock and has a request, and she's not taking no for an answer. Eggy, Biggs, actually it's gonna be you two. So who wants to play who? I'm gonna film this shot for shot remake one day.
Sorry, I gotta be dibs on the Rock real quick. I just came with that. Yeah.
So Biggs, what is your character doing in this scene, Biggs?
So the scene is the Rock is there because he was told to go by someone on the phone who's calling him by his book name. Was it Jericho something? And so he shows up, he's looking around confused, and this lady walks up and says like, you have to get, what was it? You have to get on the blimp. That's where like the thing you're looking for is or something. And he's like, okay, I'm going to do that. And immediately she's like, okay, now let me suck you off or I'm going to kill myself. And she pulls out a gun and I'm like,
if you
what?
don't let me suck your dick, I'm going to kill myself while holding a gun to her own head.
Are you going to play the sniper then? Out in the ocean?
I think we'll leave that part out because the scene ends unsatisfactorily where she's like, yeah, pull it out, and he starts doing it, and then she gets shot by a sniper. I want it, when we refilm it with you two, perhaps, to have a different ending, where something gets shot onto somebody, but it's not a bullet.
I'm just imagining like how awkward that scene had to have been to record.
What do you mean? Like, who doesn't want to suck The Rock's dick?
Well, no, for him, because he's like, all right, I'll make you the woman you want to be, and he like starts fumbling with his pants. I'm like, what is this movie?
That's why this is one of his top 2 roles, because he's not afraid to do some weird, fucked up shit. And now he's so obsessed with his image, he can only play himself and be the ultimate hero who has to win in every movie. I want The Rock to go...
We'll knock him down a peg.
Well, he has a new movie with... I think it's either Benny or Josh Safdie has a new movie with The Rock when he has, like, some hair on his head, so he's back into acting. He's playing somebody else. I hope they put weird, freaky, fucked up stuff in that, because The Rock is really good at that.
I can still say this, though. He kind of gets a little tinge of himself here because he's playing this boxer Santeros character is who his character is. And he's sort of like he's a film star to a degree, but then he like went missing and he got like captured, and it was kind of this whole thing with, spoiler alert, but it has to do with the fluid karma, perpetual motion of ocean waves tearing up the space-time continuum. But the reason why, just for the audience, the reason why this woman approaches The Rock on the beach and wants to suck his cock so badly is because she's the woman who was in charge of surveying the public toilets and watching people shit all day, and right. It was such a monotonous thing to do. She had gotten a leaked copy of Boxer Santeros's screenplay that for a film that was possibly going to happen, and this is where he plays his character Jericho Kane, which is how she addresses him on the beach, and she becomes like obsessed with it, and has sort of like my hero King Cobra. She just stuffs her face with food repeatedly and has like a sexual experience while reading about his screenplay. And so it just, with her having control of this surveillance and being able to see where he's at, this kind of leads to her coming into a culmination of, hey, she's been watching people shit for her whole life. Her life is extremely mundane, frankly, completely disgusting. And if she can't suck The Rock's cock, it's not even worth living anymore. So we've all been there.
So did I think this through right? When I was watching like the whole script that he wrote, was it actually like some movie that he was wanting to make, or was it him writing down memories that he like blocked out or something? Because I remember the big thing with the movie script he was writing is that they were trying to slow down the rotation of the Earth to like mess with people's minds or something and to cause chaos. And then like when he finally gets up and like confronts, what was the guy's name? The head weird dude.
Wallachon?
Yeah, he like confronts him and he like literally says, yeah, we're trying to like slow down the Earth's rotation. So what was the whole point of that? Was it supposed to be that he like forgot and wrote it down thinking he had this great movie idea? Or was it like, I don't know, him being...
He co-wrote the screenplay with the porn star, right?
Yeah.
And it accurately predicted the end of the world a few days from then.
So, was it meant to be a prediction then? And it wasn't like... Because I know when he woke up in the desert, he like lost his memories or something.
Lots
and that's
of
why he didn't remember he had a
Iraq
life.
Jack amnesia in the film.
Yeah. Maybe Eggy can help us out with this one, because I was very confused by that.
See, I might have picked a bad time to watch this because I've also been currently playing through this incredible game called Chocobo Mystery Dungeon Everybody, and it's every Buddy, where the entire plot of the game is that there's something called Oblivion, which is sucking out everybody's memories, and you have to conquer these dungeons in order to replace people's memories in, so I feel like I was crossing some wires here. So I don't know if I ever really felt like there was a great answer to that.
And to be fair, Eggy has not read the books yet. I'm sure once he reads the books, every answer will be revealed.
That's
Yeah, we
true.
might
I'll
need
let
to
you
do
read
uh,
it for us.
yeah.
Because
When
I'm
we
not reading it.
do God Bless America or whatever, maybe I'll need like 5 minutes just a quick like catch up to give my final definitive Southland tales. But it opens with that him and Krista wrote it, and I don't know if I ever necessarily picked up on something that was like obviously pointing it out to me. So I was kind of along for the ride on this one. Richard Roper, his negative review had one particular quotable line that said, "This is 2 hours and 24 minutes of abstract crap." But for me, I call it 2 hours and 24 minutes of abstract kino. It was definitely something where I was along for the ride, and maybe not everything was making sense, but it was enjoyable all the same.
Speaking of crap, there is some philosophical discussion about crapping, much like in Donnie Darko, do Smurfs fuck, that kind of stuff. We got a more serious question here. If animals could speak, would they choose to shit? Is a question proposed in the movie. What do you guys think of this scene? Because one of the guys in the car with the rock, he says he hasn't shit in 5 days, and they're like, well, everything shits. What? Even animals shit. And Amy Poehler's like, well, if they could talk, would they tell us they like shitting? Did he write this, or is this all being improvised? Because this is insane. Eggy, what is happening with the shit scene?
I forgot about that.
Well, there's a lot going on because you have Sean William Scott, aka Stifler, whatever his name is from American
That's right.
Is Roland Taverner. And at this point, he's basically going along with The Rock. The way I knew like there was something up pretty much immediately just because of how he's like there's all this drugs and brainwashing kind of stuff going on. They say he's got a twin brother. Whatever. I just kind of knew that didn't seem quite right to me right off the beginning. But he's supposed to be a racist cop, and he's supposed to be getting close to Boxer Santeros to talk about the movie or whatever. And he's like getting fed in lines through like an earpiece by the neo-Marxists who are trying to get in with Boxer Santeros because he was of his disappearance. And
he was being
anyway,
fed lines from Deep Throat too, right? Was that her like online name or something?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Well, yeah. As far as I think so. Yeah. But basically, they're kind of the neo-Marxists. They're kind of a little bit goofy. They're not like played super straight or serious. So that's just kind of how I took the whole dialogue, is that they were a little bit airheaded, and that's just something they've come up with. He's in this serious situation where he's like, well, listen, Rock, what I do as a police officer, we just gotta kill the problem is the beep. We're gonna kill all the beep. And Rock's like, what are you talking about? And then it's like, it's just silly, I guess, is the best way I could justify the dialogue that happens there, because they're all kind of off.
So no true deep meaning for the shit discussion? Just
I don't think.
a
Just
quirk
that
chungus?
maybe you could say that political extremists or political revolutionaries or whatever, they're not all this rank and file lockstep march. They're more like some people in a basement somewhere talking about stuff like animal shitting. That's a little more true to reality than what would ever be probably actually written into a meaningful story about it. But that's the kind of thing that I like about this film, though, is that it sometimes it doesn't make any sense, but that makes it feel more true to reality, in my opinion.
And it gives you the impression, if you rewatch it 20 times, maybe the stuff that doesn't make sense actually will, kind of like with Donnie Darko.
I'm not doing that for this movie. It got one chance to get across its message, and it failed.
Like, speaking of true things in the movie and predicting the future, so in this surveillance police state, everything has to do with your thumb ID, and everything you do. If you're going to vote, you have to scan your thumbprint instead of having an ID. Some today think that even voter ID is too far. Well, I'm kind of down for the thumb thing. It makes sense to me. And in order to steal votes, like the remaining Democrats, I think they're called like the last Democratic Party remaining or something, they're like chopping off people's thumbs, and they have like a collection of thousands of thumbs, and they straight up say, oh, these are thousands of stolen votes. So is that a prediction? Did Democrats steal votes in any election you can think of, Eggy?
Well, I did see this extremely true and fact-checked film about mules or something. I thought it was going to be about how to raise a donkey, like, you know, maybe I can become a poncho or something down on the southern trails, but then I had this extremely intelligent Indian man telling me a lot of things. And all I'm saying is, you know, Richard Kelly's tapped in on so many levels. And I know a man named Richard who's married to a woman named Kelly. I think I brought this up in the Donnie Darko. Maybe this is all just part of the truth that we're living in a simulation.
Well, I have evidence.
Known so much?
I'm glad you made the connection to Wings of Redemption, because a character who's in the military in this movie named Tina says she does not want to do salutes anymore because she has a bad rotator cuff. Shout out Wings of Redemption. That's one of his classic complaints. Richard Jordan Kelly predicted the rotator cuff. What if Richard Kelly's last name is or middle name is Jordan? Could it be?
Well, I checked. His name is actually
Richard Jordan.
Yeah, Richard Jordan. He was in another film that we watched. I remember that. Yeah.
Wait, what was the drug called in this movie?
Insecticide? I don't know. I feel like I'm on it right now.
Liquid Richard?
Liquid. Liquid Richard Kelly.
It was called Liquid something, wasn't it?
Liquid.
The only thing that ever happened was that it was just tranquilizing people, so I just took it as like a tranquilizer.
Yeah, but the Perpetual Motion Ocean was like Liquid Karma or something, right, Eggy? What was that called?
Oh, Fluid Karma.
Fluid Karma. Any other thoughts on the middle chapter of Richard Kelly's filmography? Potentially not the middle if his fourth movie gets made, but we'll see about that. Final thoughts, Eggy?
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. Yeah, it's not going to be the most cohesive story, but I feel like you basically lock in for the ride. Maybe it's something like a fever dream. I watched this sober, but I bet if you like ate a mushroom or something watching this, you'd probably go crazy. I love a good dystopian film for one, a dystopian black comedy that has an all-star cast. I mean, they didn't probably need to do too much to grip me with that premise already, and I didn't even know the premise going into it, but just the fact of how it exists. But this is a 2.5-hour film, and with my relatively low attention span, there was just enough going on, enough twists and turns, enough action, enough humor, that really it was something that I just locked in for, and I loved it. It was like a roller coaster ride, maybe more so than a real theatrical piece. But for somebody who is of the tastes that I am, this was something that really hit all the spots for me. And I probably will watch it again just to really solidify all my opinions on the film portion, and also.
Should I drop you off at Biggs' house and you can watch it with him?
Well,
I won't come pick up Eggy until he confirms you guys watch the whole thing again. So you're just stuck with Eggy until you watch it. What do you think, Biggs?
I'm not watching this movie again.
You're just gonna let Eggy move in for free?
Sure, that's fine. I'm just not watching the movie. I'm trying to find this old, I don't even know if you'd call it a horror film, but when I was watching this movie, it pissed me off in a very specific way as I was watching it. There's this movie I remember watching when I was younger. I think it was called Double Trouble, but I can't find it right now. But basically, it's about this lady that's like lost, and she ends up at this house that's like in the middle of a junkyard or something. And like some of the people living in the house are like these two really fat, disgusting, grotesque like baby men.
Nothing But Trouble.
Is that it?
Dan Aykroyd.
Nothing But Trouble. Oh man, I think this is it.
Yeah, we should review that.
Oh dude, I remember we. Oh no! Please don't make me.
He's got like a penis nose.
I was so mad the entire time I was watching the movie because it was like there's just so much stupid stuff going on, and I'm tired of this movie going on. Why is this 2.5 hours? Like, I was 30 minutes in, and I'm like, this is surely like half over now, right? Like, no, because I also didn't look at the runtime when I clicked on the movie. Oh, you know what makes this even worse? I couldn't find this anywhere, and I was too lazy to like go find it on some like backdoor site.
You could have asked
so I
me
rented
for a
it.
link. Oh,
I rented it for $3.
Oh, that could have bought you half a McDouble in 2025.
I was kind of mad because the movie, I think it was just a little bit more money and you could have just owned it. And I was like, I should have just bought the movie.
No.
Because then I would have S. Darko and Southland Tales on my Prime Video.
And those would be the only two?
Yes. S. Darko is the only movie I own on Prime Video.
I want to give a shout out to Chai in the background who walked away as soon as I said that. Yep.
Well, I appreciate you, Biggs, because I enjoyed this film so much. I thought about paying for it after the fact just because I liked it that much.
Wow.
But you got that handled for us, so I don't have to do that anymore, but I appreciate it.
Eggy's birthday is 7 months away, but I guess a Blu-ray copy of Southland Tales is coming in his stocking.
I would be happy to see it, but I don't know how much these books are going to cost either, so, but either way.
I'll get you the PDF for free. We don't pay for books around here.
You could be like those people who, pirate music and then pay for the album after the fact if they like it.
Yeah, why would you buy an album if you can't sample it? It's foolish. Echolin, take some notes. I don't like that you took all your music off of YouTube Music, although I think it means I can use it and it won't get copyright struck if I use their shit in my stuff, so maybe actually it's good you took it down. I'm gonna start stealing your shit.
Yeah, not to go off topic too far, but I remember when they took the album Snow off of Spotify for Spock's Beard, and I was like, why would you do this?
I guess it's not making them enough money. Yeah, it is disappointing. All my favorite music keeps getting taken down. One thing from the movie we forgot to mention. So Richard Kelly seems focused on this hypersexuality of the media, and he seems to be against it from his satiric takes. And one example is there's a car commercial in the movie, and the car commercial is just one car mounts another car and starts fucking its exhaust, and the exhaust turns into like a metal pussy, and it's very penetrative sex, very human-like with these cars. And that's just like the commercial for a car. It's very RoboCop in that aspect of having these parody commercials.
As I saw that unfolding on my screen, I remembered this was the only thing I saw of Southland Tales before watching this movie, actually. I don't know if it was you who showed me it or somebody else, but I remember having seen that before and knowing it was from this movie.
Do you think that would sell cars? Like, are we that obsessed with sex other than the Hardee's commercials that they're bringing back with bikini babes with the burgers? If you saw a car fucking a car, do you want to buy that car, Biggs?
Maybe, I guess.
Hey, listen,
I don't know.
We've seen, when it comes to alpha male cars, we have something called the Cybertruck. It's made out of like Walmart plastic bags pressed into cubes that disintegrate after anybody touches it. And it all depends on how alpha it is, and so I think they were ahead of their time on that one.
True.
So are we coming back next time to finish off Richard Kelly with The Box, or do we want to take a detour with God Bless America, see what Bobcat Goldthwait was up to?
I'm fine with getting the Richard Kelly trilogy out of the way.
And maybe he'll listen to our podcast and he'll love what we have to say and invite us to help him on the fourth movie. I mean, Eggy and I have been invited by filmmakers to help them before, and then they got sued by the production company for writing a script without permission.
True. I can show up on screen.
How come the only people who dedicate themselves to being Eggy are like frauds and tricksters and...
Hey, listen, in this Hollywood game, everybody's all about the contract, legal. They're not about the art, and that's why this film, once again, is so great. It's not all about this, it has to make sense. It has to make money. How about it's just a fun movie to watch? Speaking of which, I just noticed the Southland Tales Blu-ray actually also has the extended Cannes Film Festival cut, 16 additional minutes. So now I do need the Blu-ray actually
What?
because
The fuck would he have cut out? So all the stuff here was like chosen to stay.
He cut out 16 minutes of the beginning, and it was those 3 chapters. It was
okay.
It was a few hundred pages of the book.
Yeah, quick little recap. Like the
Here's
director's
a
cut of
comment,
Donnie putting a book on screen.
Yeah.
a comment from Reddit in regards to which one is the better one to watch, and I think this is a great summation of the film. You will not be entering the movie with the right mindset if you are seeking which cut makes the most sense. Just soak in the confusion and paranoia and let it happen to you on your watch of this strange beast.
I think you could crack the code if you read the books and watch it again, Eggy. I think when we come back for the box, we're going to all give Southland Tales a 5-star review just like you did. Right now, I think I gave it a 2.5 because I loved and hated it in equal amount. But much like with Megalopolis, I gave that a 2.5 and it went up to a 4 on second viewing, I think. So anything's possible.
What was your rating of this on Letterboxd, Eggy?
At 5 out of 5, I said, if you're seeing this review, stop everything you're doing and go watch this immediately. And I stand by that.
Do you stand by that, Biggs? Or do you think Eggy's giving bad advice to his loyal followers?
You know, my feelings on this movie might be different from others that I've hated, like Vivarium and other things. I think this movie is something that people should suffer through because it is just that wacky. I think it's not worth watching, but it's worth subjecting others to with false hope of it being good. I'd probably lie to somebody and say, yeah, this was a great movie. Go watch it.
So when Eggy comes over, you're going to watch it with him and your wife tonight. So you can make your wife see
she
it.
hasn't seen it. I could make her watch it.
I've got an $80 Buffalo Wild Wings gift card. Just tell me what wings you want to eat.
Hey, are you caught up on Survivor? We could come over to watch Survivor tonight, Biggs.
Didn't Buffalo Wild Wings bring back like all-you-can-eat wings?
For dining
Yeah, it's kind of a scam though, because you can get 20 wings for $17 with a side, and it's all you can eat for $20. So, I mean, even me at 20 wings is plentiful. So.
Yeah, I don't want to be dying in eating endless wings at B-Dubs. That might be the most embarrassing situation I could think of. I'm here for unlimited wings, please. At B-Dubs, when there's a wing stop across the street.
The unlimited traditional wings I think I saw was like $26 or something for all you can eat.
Hey, while we're here, Biggs, what if we end one podcast and begin another? You don't have to stay for the whole thing, but right after this, me and Eggy are recording Volume 40 of the One Piece Virgin Eggheads Book Club podcast. And what if to celebrate, we intro right now. Hey, what's up, everybody? Biggs is here on the One Piece Virgin podcast. Yay! Biggs.
They didn't know. They never thought it would happen.
What a strange ending to a Southland Tales.
Biggs, what are your top of mind thoughts on Volume 40 of One Piece?
Well, we're doing Volume 39, so hopefully.
Oh shit, I got it wrong.
One Piece recap. What chapter?
What chapter, Eggy?
I think it was at 368 through 377. Yes, that's correct.
So it's not Volume 40, I was wrong. It's Volume 39.
You are, yes. 39, the culmination in the arrival at Annie's lobby.
Yeah, Biggs, what were your thoughts on Volume 39?
Volume 39.
This is taking too long. I don't know if I can put this in
Episode 368. Yeah, it was crazy.
You're looking at the episodes, not the... Don't say anything, you're reading the episodes, not the chapters, you dumb fuck! Shut the fuck up!
Nami chasing after Corona was
How do
crazy.
I mute fucking
Something
Biggs? Shut
about
the hell
treasure.
up! Remove! Oh well.
What is up, fellow One Piecers?
I removed him from the whole group. Now that's it for Zakito. We'll see you next time, folks. Go check out the One Piece podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
I gotta get Biggs back in here. Peace, people.